All right, so first of all, you just discovered this ball in your locker, and you seemed a little surprised, but after Menahu gets the strip, you come up with the recovery. That was only the game-changing moment in the game. So just talk about how you felt like that changed the momentum, and then you came on the sideline and gave the big gorilla pose.
I know as a D-line that we pride ourselves on changing the game. I told the guys before the game, it doesn't matter who makes the play. It's just about winning the game, and we were running a lot of blitzes early in the game, and I just told Coach, like, let us rush us four. And
Is that Kyle or D'Amico?
D'Amico, yeah.
Okay.
So, and he's a great coach. He listens to the players, and we made the play.
Okay, but talk about that, because I feel like the first half wasn't necessarily up to y'all's standard. You're talking about the top defense in the league. So what was said amongst the players, or even D'Amico, to kind of reclaim the mindset? Yeah.
You can't overreact at halftime. You just got to keep going. It's a long game. Everything went their way in that half, so we just have confidence in our guys, and we know that if you don't win these games, you're done, and you're not going to be with these guys any longer. And I think that's all the motivation we need. And
put the energy into words, because after you got that, recovery, and then after that, Lenore comes up with the interception. Do you guys as a defense just feel it like lathering, and by that time now you kind of got your swag back? It
seems like just a matter of time before our defense makes a play like that, and I'm happy for Demo. It's just awesome.
And lastly, what should people out there around the league should know about D'Amico Ryans as he, kind of engages in some of these head coaching interviews soon? What should they know about your defensive coordinator?
I told him that he needs to hold off on those interviews for a few more weeks.
Oh, really?
But he's going to be an unbelievable head coach at some point. And he just knows the feel of the players, and he listens to players when he needs to, and he makes his calls when he needs to. He's as good as it gets. I said earlier, maybe a couple weeks ago, he's the best defensive coordinator I've ever been around, hands down. So.
Well, we appreciate your time, and congratulations. And yes, you deserve the game ball in your locker, Nick.
Appreciate it.
For more, we say hello to our senior NFL insider, Josina Anderson. We promised weather, and finally, Josina, the weather came. The skies parting moments ago. I want to talk to you a little bit more about that conversation you had with Nick Bosa, because he's a man of few words, and he's not going to let on much, but we did get something there. Just how much belief there is in that defensive room and how they can fuel this entire team. What did you make of the performance, specifically that final 30 minutes of football?
Well, I thought it was interesting because obviously the 49ers defense has that reputation, that intimidation factor, that swag. And I thought that Geno kind of came in here and started to begin to dictate his pace, especially after he connected with Metcalf and they started to lather it up a little bit. And that's why specifically I asked Nick Bosa what was said at halftime, because clearly it kind of needed to get back on track. And I love the fact that he talked not just about what the coaches said to the players, but the feedback that the players gave to the defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans, and the coaches to kind of talk it out and figure out what they needed to do. And once Menahu was able to get in there on Geno and Nick Bosa get in there and recover, it was so interesting because we were watching the replay in the press box, and unfortunately for the Seahawks, it seems like their offensive linemen were just kind of staring around, and the ball was behind them, and Nick Bosa with the heads-up play gets it right in the back, and I feel like they were able to kind of Lego it from there, Jenga piece it from there, and lather it from there. And then obviously Lenore comes up with the big interception on Geno as well. And once they regathered their confidence, then it went from there. And a matter of fact, Trent Williams also talked about it in the locker room as well. He kind of said, we never lost our confidence. This is what we kind of expected it. We didn't really expect him to come in here and give it to us like that. So I figure out once they kind of recalibrated themselves, they were able to kind of regain their DNA, so to speak.
Yeah, the defense, they've been strong this entire season. We know it's the heartbeat, it's the DNA of this team, but 300 plus, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's going to do good just about anywhere as well. Brock Purdy, spectacular in his postseason debut. You get to see him outside of the lines. You get to see him in that locker room. Can you give us a sense of what that guy is like and how it leads to the dude we see on the field?
He's so smooth. I haven't had a chance to talk to him or, interview him, one of the few players I would say in the NFL, but I did observe him in the locker room, and he kind of just smoothly walks by, very unassuming. And here is it that he won his first playoff game with no mistakes as far as interceptions. Now, what you did notice is that he got a little unsettled, in my opinion, or at least the offensive game got a little bit off rhythm when they got away from the run in the second quarter. You saw they were feeding Christian McCaffrey, didn't get the Pro Bowl nod, obviously that snub. You felt the fuel in the first quarter with those 68 rushing yards. Then they got away from it. He got off rhythm, and he seemed a little off target. And coming out of the break, for him to call his number, get in the end zone, you kind of, felt it come back. And that was the poise that you saw from Mr. Irrelevant. And on the other end, I thought by contrast, it was interesting. It didn't go Geno's way with that turnover, though he had a masterful performance in many games throughout the season. And then alternately, I felt like it kind of derailed a little bit mentally from it, because you're thinking about it like, oh, shucks. And sometimes your mindset can kind of linger to that mistake. It started to come back for the Seahawks, towards the end, but by that time it was too late. And here it is, the 49ers playing the music in the locker room, doing their thing, but keeping it business as usual, moving on to the division round.
Yeah, the boombox is out in force there in San Francisco. Nick got a game ball. Josina, I'm sending one to you as well. Great work braving the elements. We appreciate you.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.